days of hard hunting, right? Look at the size of that bird. Hey everybody, welcome back to this week's show. We are up at turkey camp, and I'll tell you, I'm not turkey hunting. I've only shot one turkey ever. I love to turkey hunt. It's one of my favorite things to do. But you know, this week's show is really more about really the insides of really what happens when you're at camp. Not always about killing the turkey, and hopefully we do get a couple turkeys in the next couple days, but it's about having fun with everybody and, you know, enjoying the outdoors. And thanks to all of our military men and women that protect this country, that we're lucky enough to have the places to hunt that we do and fish. So you guys hang on to your heinies. Don't turn the channel, even if you're not a turkey hunter, because this is going to be a cool trip. I tell you what, it's been quite the remodel here at Turkey Camp, and we got to thank our good friends from Forever Barnwood for helping us out on this. Place is definitely looking absolutely beautiful. At one time I thought about taking this place and basically just tearing it down, and the house was built in 1912, and there's something about history. And when you look outside at some of the great big trees that are in this farmyard here and some of the old buildings, you just hate tearing that stuff down because you're never going to see that again. You know, like, people just don't build that kind of style of buildings anymore. And so, you know, with the old timbers that they cut, you know, the true 6x6s, 8x8s, 10x10s, you know, I decided really just to remodel the house, and it's been quite the project. You know, new windows, new roof, gutted the whole inside here, and redid the downstairs so far. Pretty cool though. I'm really happy. I hope you guys really comment on what you guys think about our project that we did here with the guys from Forever Barnwood. Transformation is like, I just sit here and stare at this and cannot believe that it looks the way it looks. So it's incredible. I mean, this place looks better than my house at home by far, right? All right, let's make some sandwiches, get ready for a little turkey hunting today.
We got a late start this morning. It was downpouring right at daylight, so we waited till the rain stopped, and now we're gonna get after them. Hopefully the turkeys want to cooperate. Kind of a quiet morning. It's a little after 11, and we sat since just before 7, I think, so a little more than 4 hours in the blind. Pretty uneventful. We could hear some gobblers way off in the distance gobbling, but nothing close and nothing that was responding to us. So I guess the rain this morning had them in a pretty chill mood, because usually there's a lot of turkeys in this area, and there wasn't much going on this morning. So I guess we'll come back this afternoon, and hopefully the birds will be starting to get a little bit more active.
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah.
Perfect night for a little campfire. It's about 10:30 at night. We've got a bunch of rain. It rained already, just so everything's wet around here. I've got a bunch of wood that needed to be burnt. Perfect timing on it. It's supposed to rain all night tonight. Hopefully it's dry by morning, so we can get out there and have a shot at maybe seeing a couple of turkeys.
How me and Larry met is I wanted to show him my light that lights up your tape, and in this set it lights up your pins and your tape. I needed it to go turkey hunt in a blind because you can't see your tape, and I asked Larry to come and check out my product and shoot turkeys at my place, and that's how we met.
Hey, this might sound a little weird, but I'm just gonna tell you this. Well, I am a little weird, maybe a lot of weird. I love to clean, and one of my favorite things is to vacuum and do dishes. You know what? I cannot leave the house in the morning until every dish is washed, clean, put away, and the whole house is vacuumed. Take it on my way.
Trying to figure out how high to mount this bracket so that the TV doesn't hit the ceiling, but we can make it look like it's at a 45.
I think these white things come off the side of this TV. So you got that side?
I got this side. Okay. I got that side. I gotta find the slots in the middle.
No way. That was it?
Well, yeah. 4 pieces of candy, and I don't know what that is, but I'm eating it.
So kind of interesting, a little bit of switch right here. Marco, it was Team Jim, Marco, and myself. He dumped us. He basically dumped us because he has zero confidence in our calling, which I can understand that part, but you know what? We did see a bird. We saw a big bird, right? I don't know if it's always got to do with the calling. I'm not saying that the calling's not important, but the spot is really important. And you know what? A lot of it's got to do, don't laugh, a lot of it's got to do with the goober. If you got the goober in the blind, I don't honestly think that the calling is this important. You don't think I'm right? I want to hear about it. If you haven't tried goober, you haven't tried turkey hunting. So tonight, to be able to get our partner back here, the Marco man, his dad is going to show him how to call. So then he's got absolutely no excuse tomorrow to come back with us, right? Because we're going to a secret spot. So if he's a good caller, his dad can teach him, which I'm sure he can, right? It's going to be game back on. Jimmy, the one and only, music too loud in the Razor, and the Marco man, and myself.
Have you ever seen a machine that fits a guy's personality more than that combination?
Right. He's like, oh, I'm going to go outside and ride around the yard. I'm like, you can kiss my you-know-what. You ain't going outside and riding around the yard and digging up my yard, right? Look at him. Like, I would trust Marco or Reina driving that thing before I trust him driving that around the yard, right?
So it's the afternoon, we're here in the Barronett High 5 blind. I tell you what, this blind kind of ruins you for all other blinds. This thing is super sweet. It's got, you know, the basically all around viewing, and you can put up the black screens and just cover up what you want just to keep you know, there from getting too much light, or we know that the light's actually going to come up from behind us. So we just left that one side of this 5-sided blind closed just so we don't get silhouetted and we don't get too much light in the blind. But the viewing is awesome, and it's just a great blind, especially if you got 2 or 3 people in a blind, which we got a kid, a crossbow, 2 stands, a cameraman, myself. So there's a lot of stuff in this blind. There's plenty of room, and even if you're hunting by yourself, this is the blind you want to hunt out of. This thing is sweet. It doesn't really matter what you're hunting, but especially when you're turkey hunting with kids, weight always matters, and it always seems like you're carrying a ton of gear. You got snacks, you got extra clothing, you got a couple of different chairs, you got 3 decoys, you got a stand for the crossbow or the gun, you got the crossbow gun itself. It's just a ton of stuff, and weight matters, right? So new from this year from Barronett, we got this Barronett aluminum tripod chair. That thing weighs only 4 pounds, but can support up to 400 pounds. So if you're a bigger dude and you're worried about collapsing chairs, but you still want a lightweight portable chair, this is the chair for you. But even for myself with, you know, my 115-pound kid here, it's nice to have a nice light chair that doesn't weigh a ton. It's about half the weight of a steel chair of similar size. And then that tripod is another sweet piece of gear. It only weighs a couple pounds. It's a Vortex switchback carbon, and I wish I had that stand 3 years ago. I've been using much heavier tripod stands, and this carbon stand from Vortex is sweet, man. It's just so nice to have a stand that goes as tall as it does, and but yet it still only weighs a couple pounds. Super easy to adjust. My kid can adjust this one easier than any other stand I've ever seen, and it's just a really nice tripod. So that's the Vortex switchback carbon. Nice product. I switched Marco out for Reina in the blind this afternoon because Marco was complaining about the calling this morning. He says Larry's not the best caller. That's hard to believe. You know, Larry's good at everything, so it's hard to believe that he's not a turkey caller. This is inspiration for him to actually learn how to call decent. He's done a little bit of calling, but he really hasn't applied himself at it. So I think now's the time for this kid to learn how to call turkeys. If he's complaining about other people's calling, then it's time for him to learn. So Marco, when you use a slate, right, you just hold this thing, and it's got a little crown on it, right? So you don't want it straight up and down, and you don't want it leaned a lot. where it's sitting on the edge. You got to kind of get it sitting on the flat part of that crown or somewhere in the middle, so it's not sitting on the tip and it's not sitting on the edge. Does that make sense? And then you hold it lightly and you just make little circles. And calling is more about the rhythm than having perfect sound. You got to have the right cadence, they call it, where it's just not too fast, not too slow. And you've heard hens yelp in the morning. You know about what speed it is and what sounds right to you. So just trust your instincts and start out by just trying to drag it. Try to get the right angle, the right pressure, where you get a good yelp. Just one. And then once you kind of have your hand in the right position, make little circles. Start varying the angle, vary the pressure until you get the right sound.
Tonight we are having fresh smoked ribs from Camp Kubachek. And of course we have our cheesy potatoes. I don't want to tell anybody, but the ribs are ready. So are the potatoes.
It's good to see you up, Reina. Hey, would you like some fresh OJ, chocolate milk, white milk, Kringle, waffle, or a P&J sandwich? Never go out in the woods without enough food.
I love sweets.
Yep.
Be occupied.
All right.
Here's a tip of the week for you. I think they're brought to you by Mike's Country Meats, the finest jerky on the planet. So the Jamaican flavored jerky that Mike's Country Meats is the best. I don't care what anybody says. That's the best one, so that's the one I like. So that's the one you should try first. But don't try it if you don't like spicy stuff. Anyways, my tip of the week is that when you're turkey hunting, a lot of times in the spring you're hunting over picked fields, right? So, and if you're near a picked cornfield, your odds are probably better than being next to a picked soybean field. On Larry's farm here, this was all soybeans last year. You can definitely tell there was fewer birds in the area than there were previous years, because I think 2 out of 3 years they plant corn in this field. And it seems like when you have those picked cornfields, there's leftover grain, or if it's the invertebrate life or whatever it is, in my experience, that the turkeys definitely gravitate towards picked cornfields over other crops that have been picked the previous fall.
The other part about having a hunting cabin is that, you spend a little bit of time working on things to try to keep them nice. It's always good to know a guy like the Jimmer, too, right?
This can stay just like that.
Right? Good job.
A couple of screws and we'll be done.
Yeah, so we haven't had a lot of luck with the crossbow. We've been hunting for a couple days now, and turkeys just aren't cooperating all that well. So we're gonna maximize our shooting opportunities. We're gonna get both kids using shotguns here. Got a 20 gauge and a 12 gauge, and it used to be that, I don't know, back when I was a kid and when we started turkey hunting, you just bought a box of ammo that said turkey load and you went hunting with it. You really didn't know what made it a turkey load and what made it any different. So I think I started both kids off in their turkey hunting with a gun on a 20 gauge with just a simple pheasant load. This is just a Remington No. 5 high velocity pheasant load. Nothing special, and I would just limit their range. But I tell you, a turkey will die at anything under 30 yards just as easy by this load as any kind of expensive turkey load. So I just patterned it out of the gun, put a decent choke in it, and it works just fine at any ranges under 30 yards. But you are limited on range. Now I'm kind of graduating the kids to these, and there's a lot of really great pheasant loads out there. You hear a lot about tungsten. TSS, I think, is one of the brand names out there that's really gets a lot of publicity, and you can shoot very small pellets, very long range with that, because that tungsten carries its velocity down range, and you can have a denser pattern because you can have really small pellets. But it's really expensive. I mean, you're talking, compared to these pheasant loads, one shell's as expensive as the entire box, right? So one good alternative that's a really nice improvement over regular loads is this Winchester Longbeard XR. I've found really good luck with it. I've patterned this stuff. Somehow they actually bond the shot with a plastic resin, but it is dramatically different how it patterns. So, and it extends your range considerably. So where something like this is a 2 3/4 inch load, and you can only shoot about 30 yards, but it's just a high velocity pheasant load. You can legitimately extend your range on a 20 gauge out to about 50 yards, and it still patterns great. Holds a really tight, evenly dispersed pattern. It's a 3.5 inch. It's a 3-inch shell, so that actually, it kicks harder. You don't want to. When my kids were little, when they're 8, 9 years old, I didn't want them shooting rounds like this. But as they've gotten older, oh, there's Jim going by. As they've gotten older, I can graduate them to these harder hitting, longer range rounds that can extend their range and improve their odds a little bit. And then my daughter, who's 13, almost 14 now, I'm actually going to have her shoot a 12 gauge. So this is just a regular 12 gauge 3-inch turkey load, copper plated lead. And the reason why they copper plated is so that when the shot goes out, actually the copper, each pellet stays rounder, so therefore it patterns better. But again, I'm actually switching to these 3.5 inch Winchester Longbeard XR loads. And again, this has that plastic resin in it. It's a reasonably priced alternative to something like tungsten. But with this load, you can extend out to 60 yards with a if you got a good choke. And you need to pattern your gun. I patterned this gun out to that long with these loads, and it's absolutely incredible how well it patterns, how even the pattern is, and I've killed turkeys past 50 already with it, and it does a great job. So a lot of options out there for turkey loads now, and the technology just gets better and better. But you don't have to spend $20 a shell on tungsten if you don't want to. There are some reasonably priced alternatives that can get you out almost to the same range that you can shoot with tungsten.
It's almost like the days when you had a Harley and you were waving to the guy on a bike. You see another warrior on the water, you just get a good feel.
First class, all the way from the people that ride them to the people that make them.
They do such a nice job with communication. They'll pick up the phone anytime. It's really almost a friendship.
You could be in any state, and when somebody with a warrior drives by you, you get that honk, that beep. You're truly part of a family, and there's nothing like it.
Introducing Forever Barnwood. Transform your space with the warmth and character of a genuine barnwood look. Forever Barnwood offers over 200 authentic barnwood products. We are commercial and food safe. Our products are available in unlimited quantities while still providing the consistency you need to complete large projects. All of this while still looking like it came out of a 100-year-old barn. Forever Barnwood. Bring the history inside.
So turkeys are an extremely visual creature. When it comes to turkey hunting, there's so much focus on calling, which call you use, how to call, how often you call, that you can actually believe that. It lead you to believe that calling is the most important thing. But if you use decoys, and some people even find decoy use unethical because they're so effective, it's because turkeys are so visual, man. You can call all you want, but once they see a decoy, if they don't like what they see, or they want to come in and kick the hell out of a jake, or they're attracted to that hen, it's such a much more dramatic draw than any kind of calling. So when you put out decoys, you want them to be in a very visible location. You want to get them up on a knob, or get them somewhere where you think the turkeys are traveling through, where they're gonna see them. Don't stick them in the brush. Don't put them somewhere where they're not gonna see them until they're 20 yards from them. You want to get those things out where a turkey can see them from 100 yards, because their eyesight is wonderful, and it's such a draw when you get a hot tom or something, or a pack of jakes or something that wants to come in. They just come running into those decoys.
The Jimmer's on standby.
Friggin' smoke down! 2 days of hard hunting, right? All right, let's go out there and get that baby. Look at the size of that bird.
Just
Team success story.
Did he come into a call, or what was going on?
Oh, I called him all the way.
Oh, I called him.
Well, Larry's snoring also helped.
Yes, there's a key to that right there. A lot of people don't understand the real way to bring turkeys in.
He almost walked up to the blind because Larry was snoring when we spotted him.
Nice bird, huh?
Look at this beard.
Oh yeah, those are daggers.
How much do you think he weighs?
That's a 25-pound bird, I'd say. Look at the side. Look how wide that fan is.
All of a sudden she goes, and I went, oh, fire. He's like this. Getting his camera out. Get his camera in his hand. He's from dead sleeping.
He just wakes up.
Yep, he wakes up.
Yeah, he
Jim,
had his
grab
camera
her.
That was
stuck
funny.
in his hand, so he just...
It's just a bruiser of a bird, man. It's like an 11-inch beard. He's kind of got some dry rot on the bottom. You know they're mature turkey too when they got that long snood. I've done the whole pluck the whole bird thing, but now all I do is pluck the breast, because the breast is relatively easy to pluck. I fillet off one side of the breast and skin the other side, so I get one side of the breast with both sides of the skin. That way when I roast one side of the breast, I can wrap it in the skin, and it makes like for a good, like family meal, like a roast turkey breast where it's completely wrapped in the skin and it stays nice and moist. And then the other side that's skinless, I just use for other things. Like you can deep fry turkey nuggets or whatever.
I've heard that's actually a good way to go.
The skin's kind of precious because it's full of fat and moisture, and it's a good way to roast a portion of the turkey where you can kind of like make a big meal out of it and it stays in good condition. So
Hey everybody, you know what? There is weeks where I really love my job, and then there's other weeks like this week where I'm like, why am I so lucky to be able to experience all these great things that you get to experience? And definitely this week was super cool. Hey, congratulations, Reina, on her turkey. And you know what? Like we do each and every week, we always want to thank all of our military men and women for the great service they have given this country and continue to give this country, along with all of our firefighters, paramedics, and no doubt all of our law enforcement agents. Hey, it is a great day to be alive, everybody. I hope you guys enjoyed this week's show. We'll see you guys next week.